as you want, play around with the flashlight. It's your show at this point. The word beam showed up when I was putting that camera together. The word beam showed up when I was putting that camera together. Yeah. That flashlight is actually called a dark beam. Not that our folks are going to know that, and I don't know the exact part to it, but just, I don't find it ironic or coincidental. So are there any mono pieces that are available to the general population you would recommend?
Depends on how much you want to spend.
I mean, for a mono piece, I'm willing to go to like $400 or $500. Still too low? Yeah.
I mean, even you can probably get into some of like the cheaper digital ones for somewhere around that, like that I would probably start recommending around like $800 to $1,500. But once you start to get into like the ones that actually use the I don't know why I can't think of the term right now, but they're not digital. It's using the
like the lenses?
Yeah, but it's like a chemical thing. It's like I don't know why I can't think of the term right now.
I know what you're talking about those.
Yeah, those, like, even some of the cheapest ones are starting at like $2,000.
Yeah, and that's like some of the FLIR. The reason why I use the attachment is because the handheld ones, I mean, you're starting at $1,500 easy, and they go all the way up to 20.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'll get the $400 attachment because it's a bigger screen and it's easier to use.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, there's some good ones. I don't know too much about the electrical or the digital ones, but those digital ones are probably be what you're looking for anyways, because you can record on them.
Yeah,
like record.
That's what I was wanting.
Yeah.
And it would be for my own personal investigations, not for the tour.
Yeah.
You know, it would just look really silly for me to be handing it to the Gen Pop, like, hey, man,
yeah,
I want you to wear this monocle all night long and see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would basically be for my own personal use.
Yeah. One of the things that I like to do is I have my night vision on my left eye. I'll run a thermal on my right eye.
Okay.
And you do both, flip one up, all that.
How does that work with your vision?
It just kind of goes into one image.
Oh.
Yeah. Your eyes are like super smart, as much as it sounds really weird. And
well, that's what I was hoping for, that you were going to say.
Yeah, they basically project over each other. And they also make attachments that'll go on top of like the night vision. That'll have like a square that's all thermal, so you can get both on one image. So like people who run dual night vision, they'll run one of those for thermal. It's like at least warfare.
Yeah.
When it comes to now, like everybody has night vision. Thermal is like super powerful.
Like to get a combo like that, I'm probably looking in the neighborhood of what, like $10,000?
Yeah.
And to be able to record with it. Like, so the guy that I work with, he's over in California. He is all about like all the different types of EM fields, you know, and gamma, and you know, all the way up. And he's super smart about it, more so than I am.
Yeah.
So like something like that, probably be something I discuss with him. Like, hey man, can you come up with $5,000 and I'll come up with $5,000 and we'll mail it back and forth to each other.
Yeah.
Like whenever we have an investigation.
Yeah. Well, the digital stuff's a lot cheaper too.
Okay.
So like, you know, I mean, you're probably, you know, it's going to be heavier, right? Because you start paying to save weight.
Yeah.
Because that's what matters a lot when you're talking about like soldiers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But since you're not really going to care about that as much, yeah, I mean, you're probably somewhere around like $4,000 for both.
To get that kind of overlaid footage.
Yeah.
And it's going to film that way too?
No.
Oh.
It'll film separately.
Oh.
It's just how your eyes see it. It'll project itself over one image.
I was just wondering if, like, obviously some type of SD card in there or memory, would it actually overlay into one video on both of them? But if it's going to put them up as two separate files, those files are probably giant too.
I don't think they're too big.
So the only reason for that Zoom, that recorder we were just using, the only reason why we don't use it all the time for the whole tour it takes like 4 hours to upload it.
Yeah.
For a 2 to 2.5 hour tour, it takes forever. So 15 minutes, maybe 5 minutes tops to get it uploaded. Like it's not long at all.
Yeah.
But for some odd reason, those giant files, like they take forever. Because I thought, oh, this would be badass just to use all the time. No, I tried it one night. It took forever.
Yeah.
And I promised it to, obviously the people on the tour, so I made sure I made it happen.
Yeah. But the only thing about like the night vision stuff, if you were going to use something a little bit more like, it's probably some of the better digital night vision stuff, like with how much light pollution there is at something like here, you can't see anything. It's just all bright.
Yeah, that'd be great for looking in the back of places like this, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because even I still have to put a light filter on your video for here, just to get some of the detail.
Yeah.
Like that flashlight does a good job, but it doesn't do like the best thing I was hoping for.
Yeah.
I still put a filter, like it's like a 50% filter on it, just to get some detail out of it.
Yeah. Like my night vision, if I wore it right here, I wouldn't be able to really see anything.
Yeah.
It would just be all light. Yeah. Like me and my buddies, we go and like my buddy on his truck has basically got it to where it'll go completely black, no lights inside, no lights outside, and we'll drive around in like the middle of the country with no lights and just night vision.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But like he has a little like airbag light. Even just that would like make it to where it's like it wouldn't really distort. It was just super super bright. It's like you look down at it, it's like, oh god. So we have to like last time we went out, I was sitting there with duct tape, like no light, just trying to finger it, cover it up.
Because I know some of the places he goes, like he's hitting. There's a place out there he visits often. It's called Suicide Bridge, and he goes underneath it because that's where he gets most of the activity, and it's pitch dark out there. Yeah. He's got no lighting on there.
Yeah, it'd be really good for something like that, or even inside of like buildings and stuff like that. Yeah, would be really cool.
Most of the the buildings and stuff that I do, because I mean, let's face it, nobody wants ghost hunters in their places.
Yeah.
I'm not paying for overnight excursions.
Yeah.
So I go to museums like you guys do on vacation, and I just rent equipment and watch it later. So my the thermal you were using, I'll wear this jacket has a pocket right here, so I could just slide the phone in there and leave the camera hang out, and I got like a body cam.
Yeah.
And I just watch it later. The spirit box, I don't need to listen to it in real time. Just put it on record, and I have like a canvas bag that I carry with me. I just throw it in there.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what the hell I'm doing. You know what I mean? And then I see what I got out of it later.
Yeah.
Just do my sneaky Pete investigations, as my partner calls them. He's like, that's like some shady shit. I'm like, dude, I'm still paying the ticket price to get in.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need an overnight. It doesn't have to be dark at nighttime.
Yeah.
Thermal will pick up on stuff in the middle of the daytime. I've caught stuff. All right, Becca, what do you got now? She's still typing. What do you got? 'Cause I got nothing here.
Huh?
I got nothing on the readouts.
I got Rick, Perch, and Six.
You're on Church Street,
Yeah.
so that's not surprising. I don't know who the hell Rick is. But it could have been, I can't remember the owner of Boney. Like, I don't remember his name, so I could dive into that. So, that's something new.
Yeah,
Sticks?
Too.
Is he whipped with sticks? I don't know. Vague stretch, but you see where I'm going. Like, I'm not going to find his evidence. I know we've been talking, and I've been trying to eyeball the screen from time to time, but have you seen anything weird?
No, nothing.
Did you say the thermal? Like, would the thermal be cool in here? Or
we run the thermal, like, you're not going to get an orb on a thermal.
Yeah.
So
you're just like
so that's why we swapped the camera for this location. Now, when I have my full 10 people, I don't do the flippy flops. Everybody has all of the stuff out. Yeah. So I just say, like, try to get the same footage or whatever that camera's getting, because if we get a reaction out of this, I want to know what happened on the other two as well.
Right.
So that way I can study it and see, is there a correlation? I mean, they're all in different EM fields of what they're watching, so I'm probably not going to get anything, but if I do, then it's something definitely to take a look at, that it might not have been paranormal.
Yeah.
So.
Can I use that?
I don't know if you've heard me say or not, but on my word list, I got the word beam. That flashlight is called a dark beam. So again, I don't know if our dude can read, but it's visible. Like you can see it from your end.
Or just like a beam of light.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, last night, the phrase, what kind of light is that? actually showed up, and then the word blue showed up on the word list. So I don't know that it would look blue to them. It should come up in a purple hue, because when I've used full spectrum cameras with those same type of lights, it always shows up purple. So I was expecting the word purple to show up. But it was interesting that what kind of light is that? Was the phrase that the person heard. Oh shit.
I'm having fun.
I've seen the spirit boxes holding night vision.
Yeah.
How long you guys been together?
Dating for
A couple months. Yeah.
I'm always curious. Yeah. I married my first wife like when I was super young, so.
Yeah.
Now I got a kid in college she just broke up with her first heartbreak.
Oh.
Because it was long distance.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I foresaw that coming.
Yeah.
So she actually did fine with it.
Yeah.
She told me to fuck off when she found a TV. So
there you go.
I mean, she can hold her own.
That's awesome.
But the funny thing is like during winter break, she goes back to her mom's house in Myrtle Beach and work at the same place. So they had to make sure they had opposite shifts, so there was no, because I guess the new girlfriend that he cheated on her with was hanging out at the restaurant that they worked at.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Oh goodness.
So
okay.
And she was texting me. She's like, "When am I coming to Charleston?" I'm like, "This is on you. You're an adult now. Like, if you want to come down, just say the word. I'll come and get your ass."
Yeah.
Like, we don't need permission.
Yeah.
So, but she showed up like vape in hand, and she's like, "Mom had a hissy fit about this. You gonna say anything?" I'm like, "Get your ass in the house."
No.
I let her drive my car home. You know, she doesn't have a license yet. She just has a permit. So she's like, "Mom won't let me drive her Jeep." I'm like, "Well, I pulled over. I'm like, let's get you done."
Yeah.
So I got a little tiny car. So, and she almost killed us. So it's like her first time, like really out on the road doing over 20 miles an hour. So she doesn't know how to make right turns fully. We'll just say that she almost hit us. We hit the car.
My first time driving does not sound very good. My dad was really drunk. And I was like, I can't drive. You gotta drive us back. Right. And then I hit the car. I was told never do it. But because it was taking a left turn, I did not realize how much room I had on the right where all the other cars were turning.
What?
Yeah, it was 12.
Well, I mean, back in my day, we used to fight with parents. When you're 16, like, you could get a permit at 15. You're begging your parents to get your permit, and then you get your license at 16, you know, and all of those things. Like, my daughter's going to be 19 years old and still doesn't have her license yet. That would drive me nuts. I bought my first car. I was 16 for like a month, and I bought my first car. I just had to hand the cash to my dad to go pick it up because you can't buy a car at 16. So he's like, "What's this for?" I'm like, I picked out my car. It's waiting for us. Yeah. We gotta go get it. I said I paid like 5 or 6 for mine, but I had an 82 Laser.
Yeah.
Black with black leather. That guy was a badass back then. He talked to you, like door ajar kind of shit. I used to make fun of my car that it was Kit from Knight Rider. Yeah. You got anything weird at all? Since you're like running the investigation right now, you got anything weird?
No.
No, nothing you're hearing?
No,
nothing
not
visual?
right now. No.
Did you play with the flashlight? See how it works?
No.
Yeah, so you can like right here. So you can zoom this in and out, right? And it'll change like the
The smaller the dot, the brighter it gets.
Yeah. So like now it's like as bright as it gets. So if you zoom in, like put it on something.
And it needs something to reflect off of. It's not gonna go into open air.
Okay.
Like a normal flashlight. Still needs
reflecting.
So like what I do is I put it a little closer, so it's like the camera's on one side and the light's on the other. So like put the camera lens like right up here.
Okay.
Go closer.
I don't want to like put the thing.
Yeah, so
you can go right up to it.
You just make sure. See right there. Like look around.
And then you can zoom in on your dot. I don't know if you're zoomed in all the way or not.
Zoom in this right here.
Oh, okay.
And zoom out, going left.
Okay. I see. That's cool.
Yeah, and and this camera wasn't listed as a ghost hunting camera.
Yeah.
I called my buddy up. I'm like, give me a recommendation because the full spectrums I'm using, like on the tours, I'm breaking like 1 1/4, and they're like $300 a piece.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So because they're small and the
Yeah.
ports on them aren't soldered very well.
Yep.
So I got tired of trying to fix them to
Mhm.
save a few $100. So he's like, just get a regular cam that has night vision. You know, you'll see the infrared lighting on the lens. He's like, that's not going to be enough. He's like, you already have the floodlight. And then he recommended that dark beam, just because he doesn't. His theory is that UV light actually hurts ghosts.
Hmm.
So he's like, obviously you're trying to find them, not protect people. So make sure you stick with the infrared instead of the UV. So I'm stuck with infrared this entire time.
On my rifle, I run a flashlight that you can on it's just ahead of it. You just pull out and twist. Once I will do regular white light, and the other side is infrared.
This
And
thing
your
is
scope is probably something where you can see the infrared.
No, like a lot of I don't really run many scopes on most of my stuff except for my hunting rifle, and I have one other rifle that I do.
So do you even use the infrared then? Since you can't see it?
Yeah, so that's like when I'm if I'm shooting under night vision.
Oh, gotcha.
Because it'll also have like an IR dot.
Gotcha.
That's like super bright. But all of my red dots, if I don't want to run the light, I have a night vision mode where I can see the dot under night vision.
So he's got a lot of shit already that you can be ghost hunting with.
Yeah, I need to explore
And
stuff.
that stickman camera that you were asking me
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
So that camera,
Mhm.
in the mode that it's in, would be able to see all of the spray of dots
Okay.
because they're infrared dots.
Yeah.
So what it does is it puts the dots on something like this. The problem with this location is there's a lot of depth. There's
Yeah.
headstones every row.
Yeah.
So it's going to try to put a stick figure on all of the different depths of perception because it can see all the way back to that wall.
Right.
So there's going to be a lot of like little men all over these headstones.
Yeah.
You're just waiting for the 3 points for the face, and I try to tell these people when they're using that camera, get a reaction. If you're a ghost or you're Eliza, raise your right hand. Like ask for something.
Yeah, I
You
see.
know, I
Okay.
always say ask for something very specific,
Mhm.
and that's where I get my solid proof out of it.
Mhm.
So one location that we don't do anymore, there was a person, looked like he was sitting, stick figure, sitting with his back against a tree, and he had his hands up like this, like he was reading a book. Well, the person we were trying to make contact with was a writer, so it made complete sense. So I saw that I had the 3 points for the face, and I said,
Yeah.
can you please put your book down and look at me? And we literally watched the right hand drop the book, or whatever was there,
Yeah.
and the face turned. Like
Oh,
this.
that's
So,
cool.
I mean, it only lasted for about maybe 3 to 4 seconds.
Yeah.
But that's a long time in this world.
Yeah.
So if you can get probably 20 frames out of that to get
Yeah.
the motion of it, like that's phenomenal shit.
Yeah.
So
He's like, man, I'm just trying to read my book over
I
here.
know.
Like, you know. Yeah, that's cool though.
let me check my word list and we'll pack that camera up.
Yeah.
See what else we got on here. Special state eyebrow. Does that mean anything to either one of you two? That's a weird word to get on here.
Eyebrow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's the word cut before it too. And I can't help but think of like a boxer that's got his eyebrow cut kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that over here that I know of, but that's the first thing I think of. Alright, so we got a handful of terms that I'm excited about so far for the night. And I would still say with the readings that we had, we're probably still falling underneath that below average type of thing, just based off of what you're missing out on.
Yeah.
We might be able to get that boosted up with our last location.
Yeah.
I'll take that. I'm on Legoing it together. Is it still recording? Yes.